what's good? It's your boy Jerome, and Aemeath gameplay has just dropped, so we're getting a little teaser preview of what her kit is gonna be looking like, her combat animations and shit. So yeah, I'm excited. Aemeath, like her design is already fire. We got a little glimpse of her in the 3.0 main story quest, like really towards the start. It was just a very quick glance, but she was looking fire, and I'm excited to see like what her gameplay is gonna be looking like. Check it out. Like supposed to be using some type of mech. She's supposed to like kind of like switch from mech to her like regular form, pretty much, kind of like switch pretty seamlessly. But yeah, let's see. Yeah, so off rip, she has very like very tech based themes. Oh yeah, and then there's her mech. So that's fire. It seems like she switches to her mech like mid like regular basic attack combo, which is pretty fucking dope. Wonder like how that's gonna like actually play out in actual gameplay.
The world is mine to guard. Objective logged. Fly high. Truth. Reach the cosmos.
That's dope. So that's already looking like a whole ultimate.
Ready to launch. Eclipse.
Sorry to keep pausing. No, but like also her combos kind of, yeah, and even the way she like changes forms really reminds me of Fleur de Lis or Cartathea, which like really ties into how, I guess, like how similar like the Sentinel resonators are supposed to be, like combat at least.
World is mine to guard. Objective.
No, but that was dope. She sings like she'll randomly have a little cinematic where she starts singing. Yeah, what about that one?
The world is mine to guard. Objective logged. Fly high.
Oh, that's dope. Yeah, it's really giving Cartathea.
Blade cleaves the night. Herald burst in light.
I could have sworn I already just saw an ult. No, yeah, like I'm assuming it's gonna be like Cartathea, where there's gonna be like multiple stages to her ult, kind of, unless they just sprinkled in some cinematics for like heavy attacks and stuff, kind of similar to Chang Li, but even more like looks even more like an ult.
Body limit unlocked. The savior rises.
Oh my god. Wait, that's cold as shit. Wait, that's cold as shit. Hold on. So yeah, you're gonna be able to, when you like fully transform into the mech, you're gonna be able to control it, fly around like crazy. This is insane mobility. The only thing I wonder is how long it's gonna last, because I know with Fleur de Lis, like there's a limit to her buffs, but there's no time limit to how long you can stay in that form. So you could really just play Cartathea in like Fleur de Lis form forever. But with this, it's seeming like the mobility is crazy. There has to be a time limit to that, because there's no way they're just gonna letting you fly around like that forever. Well, it might be stamina intensive. That might be
the savior rises.
Drawback. Yo, but that ending ult was fire. Okay, so that was Aemeath official like teaser gameplay, and the thing is, like, I don't. So there's always been talk about her like being fusion burst, although there's no indication of that right now. But the way I see it, like, alright, so she has, it seems like she has multiple stages from her, of her ultimate. This is just speculation on my part, but I'm assuming maybe each like ult, like
The world
this,
is mine to guard.
see this first one,
Objective.
yeah, so you get a little cinematic. This has to be like the first stage of her ult. Let's just make sure we cover it all.
Eclipse. The world is mine to guard. Objective.
Yeah, so you see right there, she starts singing a little, she looking at the camera, she on her Chacona shit. But like you see the mech in the background. Let me try to get it now, bro.
The world is mine to guard.
You see the mech in the background charging up a shot. So I think if she is fusion burst, which she should be because they went through the effort of introducing the mechanic in like 3.0, I'd say. I know there was another like character that was rumored to be fusion. Whatever. That girl. But yeah, like, but it wouldn't make sense if let's say Aemeath wasn't a fusion burst utilizing character, but this girl was, because Aemeath is also a sentinel resonator, same as Kartathea, and Kartathea also uses negative status inflictions to like utilize her full kit, get her most damage. And so I think it would only make sense if Aemeath was also able to utilize this negative status. So it wouldn't really make sense if they introduced fusion burst as early as they did, just to not have their sentinel resonator for this new area utilizing it. And so with this first version of the ult, like this first ult usage, like let's say stage 1 of her ult, like there's, yeah, you'll see the mech in the background charging up an attack, and then he shoots it down like kind of right behind her. So I think that could be a good use of like that could be a good opportunity to let's say to inflict fusion burst. Like let's also look at the fusion burst mechanics again real quick. When fusion burst is stacked to its max, all stacks will be removed to trigger an explosion, dealing fusion damage around the target. Fusion burst stacks up to 10 times by default. The higher the stacks, the more damage dealt. Yeah, so I think it would only make sense like if they made Aemeath a fusion burst utilizing character, because also she would also go really well with Chisa, who's been kind of lacking in, who's been really lacking, yeah, kind of is an understatement. Chisa's been really lacking in terms of team options. Like ideally she would have worked with Zani and Phoebe as well, but that just didn't end up being the case because of Zani's little like very specific kit wording that makes it so Chisa doesn't really benefit her, like the max stacks and stuff. When Chisa can only really be utilized effectively with the Kartathea team and only slightly better than when being paired with Arrow Rover, for example, then like you're missing out on a lot of character value. And Aemeath being able to potentially use fusion burst would like make her more viable again. And it just makes sense for Aemeath to use fusion burst. So when we were looking at this, for example, let's say like each stage of her ult, like for example this like stage 1 of her ult would inflict fusion burst, like inflict a couple of stacks. Let's say maybe let's just say like 5 or something, why not? And then so if that's the case, then okay, this stage 1 of the ult is going to use 5 stacks. It's going to inflict 5 stacks. And then you see that that's basically like a stage 2 of her ult, it looks like. So it would make sense if this also inflicted like, let's say, another 5 stacks. Hmm. Actually, you know what? Like, okay, so let's think about it this way. So the default stacks of Fusion Burst goes up to 10. So we could have it to where Chisa could, so Chisa would buff like doubles the amount of like max stacks like able to be applied on an enemy. So she'll take it from 10 to 20. Like let's say Aemeath, each stage of her ultimate, she had like 3 we saw. Let's say each stack inflicted like 5. Then you could have, like, without Chisa, without raising the max stacks, you could have a early fusion burst trigger effects. And if it works multiplicatively to where it's better to trigger fusion burst at a higher max stacks, like 20 as opposed to 10, then that would make Chisa more viable for this kind of mechanic.
Blade cleaves the night. Herald burst in light. Propulsion mode.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, how many? Well, hold on. Did I miscount? Is there actually like? Is it looking like there's actually 4?
The world is.
Let's see. Hold on. We're gonna make this quick. We're gonna go through her whole thing again. That's
The world is mine to guard.
That's 1.
Fly high. Reach the cosmos. Blade cleaves the night. Herald burst in light.
This is 3.
Propulsion mode. Crash now. Body limit unlocked. The savior rises.
You know, 4. Okay, so yeah, we actually counted 4. So it would make sense if yeah, Cheese is raising the max stacks. So let's say yeah, let's say each kind of stage of her ultimate inflicts, like, we could even say like 10 or something, whatever. Let's just say it hypothetically. So then she would be dealing like 2 instances of max stack fusion burst damage. So first 2 stages is gonna get enemies to 20 stacks. That's gonna do the biggest burst of damage possible for fusion burst. And then the last 2 stages, 3 and 4, are gonna inflict another 20 stacks, which would make sense for Chisa to be buffing to be much better than just dealing 2 small instances of 10 max stack fusion burst damage. Kind of complicated, and like, yeah, I don't know if I explained that the best, but, and this is speculation on my part, but I just think that'd be a cool mechanic, and it would make Chisa viable. It would make sense for the Sentinel resonators to be following a theme of having that little like kind of gimmick, like yeah, like utilizing negative statuses. Kartsathea uses arrow erosion. It would only make sense for Aemeath to use fusion burst, and maybe that would solidify her as more of a sub DPS. No, not like sub DPS. I want to say just like a burst DPS. There you go. Yeah, that would make the most sense for Aemeath if she was like utilizing fusion burst and shit. Animation power creep is real, not for real. Yeah, but no, yeah, her kit is looking fire. Her animations are fucking dope as shit. Like, and I will definitely be pulling her. Hopefully I'm able to get her, but I'm also gonna be pulling Mornier. But yeah, that's been it for this video, and peace. Catch y'all next time.